The phone call came on a Tuesday morning. I was in my workshop, sanding down a piece of reclaimed cedar for a custom bookshelf, when my cell phone buzzed against the workbench. "Thornton, this is Jake Ramirez. I'm the videographer from your son's birthday party last month." I remembered him. Young guy, maybe late 20s, with professional equipment and a friendly demeanor. Marcus had insisted on hiring him for the party at the cottage we'd rented in Tofino. $40,000 for a weekend celebration. I'd tried not to think about the cost. Is everything all right with the video? There was a pause. In that silence, I heard something that made my hand stop moving across the wood grain. Hesitation. Maybe fear. "Thornton, I need you to come to my studio. Today, if possible. There's something in the footage you need to see. And sir, please don't mention this call to your son." My workshop suddenly felt colder. What kind of something? I can't explain over the phone. "But Mr. Thornton, it's important. Very important. Can you come alone?" I looked at my reflection in the window. 62 years old, gray at the temples. Still strong enough to haul lumber, but feeling every one of those years lately. My wife, Sarah, had been gone for 15 years. I'd raised Marcus by myself from the time he was 17. I'd thought I'd done a decent job. "I'll be there in an hour." Jake's studio was in a small industrial park in Victoria. I'd made the drive from my place on the Saanich Peninsula in 45 minutes, breaking the speed limit for the first time in years. Something about his voice had lodged itself under my ribs like a splinter. He was waiting for me at the door. His studio was neat, organized. With editing equipment I couldn't begin to understand lining one wall. He gestured to a chair in front of a large monitor. "Thornton, I want you to know I debated calling you. Client confidentiality and all that. But I couldn't let this go. Just show me." He clicked a few buttons. The screen filled with footage from the party. The cottage's expansive deck overlooking the Pacific, sunset painting everything gold and orange. I saw myself in the frame, laughing at something Marcus had said. My arm around my 3-year-old grandson, Jamie. The boy had seaweed in his hair from playing on the beach earlier. "This is after the official party ended," Jake explained. I was packing up my gear, but I'd left one camera running on the deck. I forgot about it for about 20 minutes. This is what it caught. The timestamp showed 9:47 p.m. Most guests had left. I'd gone inside to help clean up. On the screen, Marcus and his wife Vanessa stepped into frame. They didn't look at the camera. They thought they were alone. Marcus was on his phone. Vanessa was smoking, which she only did when she was stressed. She'd told me she'd quit. "Did you get the documents from Chen?" Vanessa asked. My son nodded. "He'll write the letter. Costs $5,000, but it'll be worth it." "You're sure he'll do it?" "A doctor lying about cognitive decline is serious. He's got gambling debts. He'll do it. Once Dad signs the new trust documents next week, we move fast. The letter goes to the court. We file for conservatorship. He gets moved to that place in Duncan." My hands gripped the arms of the chair. Jake's studio felt like it was tilting. On screen, Vanessa took a long drag. In the house, on the market within 3 months, the waterfront property alone is worth $2.5 million. We split it, file for divorce like we planned, and we're both set. Marcus laughed. "The old man actually thinks we're going to work things out. Couples therapy." As if, "What about Jamie?" Vanessa asked. "What about him?" "We'll work out custody. Dad can visit once a month or something. That's plenty. He adores his grandfather. He'll get over it. Kids are resilient." Marcus's voice was flat. "Matter of fact, the important thing is the client list from Dad's architecture firm. Those contacts are worth millions. Once we have power of attorney, we can access everything." Vanessa flicked her cigarette over the railing. "Your dad's going to fight this. Once Chen writes that letter, it's done. Cognitive decline. Unsafe to live alone. Needs professional care. We'll look like concerned family members doing the right thing. Nobody questions that. He's only 62. Marcus. Doesn't matter. We have the medical documentation. We have the timeline. 3 months from now, we'll both be free and rich. No more pretending to give a damn about building sandcastles and bedtime stories." They walked out of frame. The video continued for another minute. Just an empty deck and the sound of waves. Before Jake stopped it. I couldn't speak. My throat had closed up. That was my son, the boy I'd raised alone after Sarah died. The teenager I'd sat with through grief counseling. The young man whose failed businesses I'd bailed out 3 times. To the tune of $150,000. The father of my only grandchild. Thornton. Jake's voice seemed to come from very far away. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I managed to nod. Can you make me a copy of this? Already done. He handed me a USB drive. There's more. About 15 minutes total. They talk about timing, about how to handle things if you resist. Thornton, I think you need to call a lawyer. I stood up. My legs felt unsteady. How much do I owe you for the party footage? Nothing. Consider it paid in full. Thornton, are you going to be okay? I looked at this young man I barely knew, who'd shown me more honesty in 30 minutes than my own son had shown me in years. I don't know, I said, but thank you for telling me. The drive home was a blur. I kept seeing Marcus's face on that screen. Casual, calculating, discussing my forced institutionalization like it was a business transaction, because that's what it was to him. That's all I was. A transaction. When I pulled into my driveway, I sat in the truck for a long time. My house looked the same as always. West Coast modern design. Lots of glass and cedar, perched on a slope overlooking Saanich Inlet. I'd designed it myself 30 years ago, when Marcus was a toddler and Sarah was still alive. Every beam, every window placement, every detail had meaning. The guest house sat 50 meters away, tucked into the trees. Marcus, Vanessa, and Jamie had been living there for 8 months, just until we get back on our feet. Marcus had said, just until the market improves. I'd said yes because of Jamie, because I loved seeing my grandson every day. I could see lights on in the guest house. Probably Vanessa editing photos for her Instagram. She had 40,000 followers who thought she was a lifestyle guru, who thought her life was perfect. I went inside my house and locked the door behind me. For the first time in 8 months, I engaged the deadbolt. Then I called Richard Chen. Richard Chen had been our family doctor for 5 years. Young guy, good reputation, thorough. He answered on the third ring. This is David Thornton. I need to schedule a complete physical, full cognitive assessment included, as soon as possible. Is everything all right? David, I just want everything documented. Can you fit me in this week? I have an opening Thursday morning. But David, is there something specific you're concerned about? I just want my health on record. Complete record. There was a pause. I'll see you Thursday at 9. I hung up and called my lawyer next. Helen Porter had handled my business affairs for 20 years. She was tough, smart, and didn't suffer fools. Helen, I need to see you tomorrow. First thing, and I need a referral for an elder law attorney. David, what's going on? Tomorrow. I'll explain everything tomorrow. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in my living room with the lights off, watching the guest house through the window. Around midnight, I saw Marcus come out, walk to his car, drive away. He came back 2 hours later. I wondered where he'd been. I wondered how long he'd been planning this. I wondered when my son had stopped being my son. The next morning, I was in Helen's office when she opened the door at 8. She took one look at my face and poured coffee without a word. I plugged in the USB drive and showed her the video. She watched it twice. Her expression never changed, but I saw her jaw tighten. David, I'm going to ask you a difficult question. Do you want to try to salvage your relationship with your son? You answered very quickly. I've been awake all night thinking about it. That man in the video isn't the person I thought I raised. Maybe he never was. I don't know anymore. But I know I'm not going to let him do this. Helen nodded. Because we're going to need to move fast. And we're going to need to be thorough. I'm calling Patricia Wong. She's the best elder law attorney in BC. We're going to bury your son in documentation before he knows what hit him. Patricia Wong arrived within the hour. She was in her 50s, sharp-eyed, with a reputation for being ruthless in court. She watched the video once, made notes, and looked up at me. Thornton, have you signed any documents recently? Any updates to your will? Any power of attorney forms? Marcus asked me to update my trust last month. Said it would be better for tax purposes. I told him I'd think about it. Don't sign anything. Do you have copies of all your current estate documents? In my safe at home. Get them to me today. We're going to do several things simultaneously. First, we're going to document your current cognitive state thoroughly. Second, we're going to secure your assets. Third, we're going to file for a restraining order based on attempted elder abuse. Fourth, we're going to evict them from the guest house. There's a child involved. I said, my grandson. Patricia's expression softened slightly. We'll handle that carefully. But Mr. Thornton, they were planning to institutionalize you and take everything. We need to protect you first. Do it. Over the next week, I became a ghost in my own home. I got the physical. Chen ran every test imaginable. Cognitive function, perfect. Memory, excellent. He was thorough, professional, and at the end, he printed out a 10-page report documenting my perfect health. David, is someone questioning your capacity? He asked. Not yet, but they were planning to. His face went very still. I see. You have complete documentation now, dated and notarized. If you need me to testify to anything, call me. I had security cameras installed throughout my property. Not hidden. Obvious. I wanted Marcus to know he was being watched. The installer, a retired cop named Doug, looked at the guest house and back at me. Family trouble. You could say that. Cameras are good. You might also want to stay somewhere else while this plays out. People get unpredictable when money's involved. I'm staying with my friend Robert for a few weeks, but I want my house protected. I moved into Robert's condo in James Bay that afternoon. Robert and I had been friends since architecture school 40 years ago. He'd been there when Sarah died. He'd helped me raise Marcus. He listened to the whole story without interrupting, and when I finished, he just said, I never liked Vanessa. Patricia Wong moved like a precision machine. She filed for eviction on grounds of safety concerns. She submitted the video evidence to the police. She created an irrevocable trust that couldn't be changed, challenged, or broken. Everything was going into it. The house, the investment accounts, the business assets. Everything except a small education trust for Jamie, structured so Marcus couldn't touch it until Jamie was 25. We're putting conditions on it, Patricia explained. University completion, character references, assessment by independent trustees. Your grandson will be protected, but only if he becomes his own person. The police called it attempted elder abuse. The video was damning. Marcus was questioned. Vanessa was questioned. Chen was questioned. And apparently his face went white when they played him the recording. The eviction notice was served on a Monday morning. I wasn't there. Patricia had a process server do it. But Helen called me an hour later. David, your son is trying to reach you. He's called my office 6 times. Don't answer. He's threatening legal action. Let him try. We have him on video. Marcus sent texts. Dozens of them. First angry. Then confused. Then desperate. What's going on? We can explain everything. It was Vanessa's idea. I never wanted this. Think about Jamie. You're hurting Jamie. I didn't respond to any of them. Patricia had advised complete silence. Let your lawyers speak for you. Everything you say can be used against you in court. Everything you don't say can't. Vanessa tried too. She showed up at Robert's condo. I watched her on the video intercom, tears running down her face. Perfect makeup smudged. David, please. We made mistakes. We can fix this. Think about your grandson. He needs his grandfather. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to believe her, but I'd watched that video 100 times. I'd heard her voice. Casual and cold, talking about monthly visits being plenty. I didn't open the door. The hearing was set for 3 weeks out. In that time, I saw Jamie once, through a supervised visit arranged by the court. He was confused, kept asking where Grandpa's house was. Why couldn't they go build sandcastles? Buddy, I told him. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, letting him leave. Marcus and Vanessa's marriage imploded. The video evidence of their planned divorce came out during depositions. Vanessa moved back to Ontario. Marcus got a lawyer, a good one, and tried to fight the eviction. But Patricia Wong was better. The court date arrived on a gray November morning. The courthouse in Victoria was cold. Institutional. Marcus sat across the aisle with his lawyer. He looked older, thinner. When our eyes met, he looked away. The judge was a woman in her 60s named Justice Morrison. She reviewed all the evidence. The video, the medical reports, the security camera footage showing Marcus trying to access my house after the eviction notice, the financial records showing the 3 failed businesses I'd bailed out. She looked at Marcus for a long time. Thornton, do you have anything to say? Marcus stood. Your Honor, I made mistakes. I said things I didn't mean. My father and I have always had a complicated relationship. I think we just need family therapy, not legal intervention. Justice Morrison's expression didn't change. You plotted to have your father declared incompetent. You bribed a physician to falsify medical records. You plan to forcibly institutionalize a healthy 62-year-old man and sell his home out from under him. These are not mistakes. These are crimes. She ruled in my favor. Complete eviction. Restraining order. Marcus was prohibited from coming within 100 meters of me or my property. The education trust for Jamie stood. Everything else was locked away where Marcus could never touch it. Walking out of that courthouse, I felt lighter than I had in months. And emptier. Patricia walked me to my truck. David, you did the right thing. You protected yourself. I know, it doesn't feel like winning. It probably won't for a while. But you're safe now. That matters. I drove back to my house that afternoon. The guest house sat empty. I'd have it demolished next month. I couldn't look at it anymore. Inside my own home, everything was exactly as I'd left it. My workshop, my drawings, Sarah's photographs still on the mantel. But it felt different now. Quieter. Not in a peaceful way. In a hollow way. I made coffee and stood at the window overlooking the inlet. November rain was starting. That fine mist that defines the West Coast. The water was gray and choppy. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. You won. I hope you're happy. I stared at it for a long time. Then I typed back. I didn't win. I just stopped losing. I blocked his number after that. Over the next few months, I settled into a new routine. Robert came over for dinner twice a week. I took on some consulting work, mentoring young architects. I volunteered at the Maritime Museum. I learned to cook properly, not just the bachelor basics Sarah used to tease me about. I saw Jamie every other Saturday. Supervised visits arranged through family court. Marcus had visitation rights, but they were structured, controlled. The boy was resilient, like kids are. He still wanted to build sandcastles. So we did, down at Willows Beach. Even in the winter rain, one Saturday in February. Jamie looked up at me from the sandcastle we were building and asked, "Why doesn't Daddy live at your house anymore?" Grandpa. I thought about lying, making it easy. But I'd spent too many years making things easy. Because sometimes grown-ups make bad choices. Jamie. And when they do, there are consequences. What's consequences? It means that what you do matters. The choices you make shape your life. Did Daddy make bad choices? He did? Jamie thought about this, patting sand into a bucket. Are you sad? Very sad. Me too. He dumped the bucket, creating another tower. But I'm glad I still get to see you. Me too, buddy. Me too. I bought a smaller place 6 months later. A cottage in Sydney. Right on the water. Nothing fancy. 2 bedrooms. One for me and one for when Jamie visits. I sold the big house. Too many ghosts. The money went into the trust. Locked away. Protected. Some nights I sit on my deck and watch the ferries cross to the Gulf Islands. Their lights bright against the darkness. I think about Marcus. About the boy he was and the man he became. I wonder if I missed something. Some crucial moment where I could have steered him differently. If Sarah had lived, would things be different? I don't know. I'll never know. But I do know this. I spent 40 years building buildings, creating spaces where people could live their lives. Somewhere along the way, I forgot to build boundaries. I thought love meant saying yes. It doesn't. Sometimes love means saying no. Sometimes it means protecting yourself, even from the people you die for. Marcus emails occasionally. Brief messages. How are you? Thinking of you. I respond with one word. Thanks. I don't know if we'll ever repair what's broken. Some fractures are too deep. But Jamie's trust is secure. When he turns 25, he'll have resources. Not just money. Requirements. Education. Character. Purpose. He won't inherit wealth. He'll inherit the chance to build something real. That's the legacy I'm leaving now. Not property or investments. Just a lesson carved into legal documents and life experience. Your worth isn't measured by your bank account. It's measured by your integrity, by your boundaries, by your willingness to protect yourself when protection is needed. I'm 63 now. I live alone. Some people would say I lost, that I drove away my only child, that I'm isolated, that I chose money over family. They're wrong. I chose myself. I chose dignity. I chose to not be a victim of manipulation disguised as love. And you know what? For the first time in 15 years, since Sarah died and I became everything to everyone, I'm at peace. Alone doesn't always mean lonely. Sometimes it just means free. Last Saturday, Jamie and I built the biggest sandcastle we've ever attempted. 4 towers, a moat, a drawbridge made of driftwood. Tourists stopped to take pictures. Jamie was so proud. Grandpa, this is the best one ever? It is, buddy. It really is. Will it still be here next week? The tide will take it. He looked sad for a moment, then thoughtful. But we can build another one. We can build as many as you want. That's the thing about sandcastles. They don't last, but the building, that lasts forever. He didn't quite understand, but someday he will. Someday, when he's older and reads the terms of his trust, when he sees the requirements and the protections and the structure built around his inheritance, he'll understand what his grandfather was trying to teach him. Not everything that loves you is good for you. Not every family member deserves access to your life. Not every relationship is worth saving. Some things need to be demolished so new things can be built. I'm building something new now. Something smaller, simpler, stronger. A life with boundaries, with peace, with room for a grandson who still believes in sandcastles. That's enough. That's more than enough. That's everything.